Dear friends, brothers and sisters in Christ, today we are embarking on a truly profound and thought-provoking journey. We gather here with hearts and minds open, ready to explore one of the most fundamental and age-old questions. Does the Christian God exist? This is not merely an academic or philosophy query. Rather, it is a question that has the power to shape the very essence of our lives, the foundation of our beliefs. In a world full of skepticism, atheism, and an array of competing worldviews, it is very important we, as followers of Christ, are well equipped to defend and clearly articulate the reason underlying our faith. In a society where doubt often prevails and the existence of God is frequently challenged, our ability to present a rational and compelling case for our belief become a very important, crucial aspect of our Christian witness. So we venture into this exploration of the compelling evidence for the existence of the Christian God. Let us approach with humility, eagerness to learn, and a willingness to have our understanding deepened. I will list out some famous and thought-provoking arguments. The first of one is the most famous one, the cosmological argument. One of the most powerful and intellectually stimulating arguments for the existence of God is the cosmological argument. This argument commences with a simple yet incredibly profound observation. The universal exists. Every single entity we observe around us, from the galaxy stretching across the cosmic expanse to the subatomic particles that make up the building blocks of matter, is an integral part of this universe. But the question has puzzled philosophy, scientists, and thinkers for centuries. How did it all begin? Science, through its continuous exploration and research, has provided us with strong evidence that the universe had a beginning, a moment often referred to as the Big Bang. The scientific theory posits that at a specific point in time, all matter, energy, space, and time came into existence in this magical event. This means that was a definite starting point for the universe as we know it. Now, we consider the laws of logic and causality. We find a fundamental principle. Everything that begins to exist has a cause. This principle is deeply ingrained in our understanding of the world. For instance, in our daily lives, we observe that a tree grows from a seed, which is the cause of its existence. A building is constructed by builders, who are the cause of its standing. Similarly, if the universe began to exist, it logically follows that it must have had a cause outside of itself. The cause of the universe then must be something that transcends the boundaries of time and space and possesses immense power. It must be timeless because time itself becomes with the universe. In other words, before the Big Bang, there was no concept of time as we understand it. The cosmos must also be spaceless because space is a fundamental aspect of the universe. And it has to be incredibly powerful enough to bring the entire universe into existence from nothing. This description aligns perfectly with the Christian understanding of God as the all-powerful eternal creator. God in the Christian faith is seen as an existing outside of time and space, being the source of all creation. As the Paul so eloquently writes in Romans chapter 1:20 verse, "For since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, his eternal power and divine nature has been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made, so that people are without excuse." These words emphasize that the very existence of the universe serves as a clear testament to the existence of a creator. The complexity, order, and vastness of the universe point unmistakably to the handiwork of a divine being, a God who is the source of all that exists. Second argument, the teleological argument, design in the universe and the fine-tuning phenomenon. Another compelling, awe-inspiring evidence for the evidence of God is the teleological argument, commonly known as the argument from design. What we cast our gaze upon the universe, we are immediately struck by its order, complexity, and astonishing phenomenon of fine-tuning. The fine-tuning centers around the precise value of physical constant and initial condition of the universe that are absolutely necessary for the existence of life as we know it. There are numerous physical constants that govern the behavior of the universe, such as gravity constant, the speed of light, the Planck constant, and the electromagnetic force constant. Each of these constants has a very specific value, and even slightest devaluation from this value and result in a universe that is completely inhospitable to life. The cosmological constant example, which relate to the existent expansion rate of the universe, is another example of fine-tuning. To put this level, it is likely trying to hit a bullseye on a dartboard the size of the observable universe from a great distance. Such an astonishing level of fine-tuning is almost beyond human comprehension. Even with our solar system, we can observe numerous factors that are finely tuned for life on Earth. The distance of the Earth from the Sun is just right. If it were a bit closer, the Earth will be too hot and water will boil away. If it were a bit farther, the Earth will be too cold and water will freeze. The persistence of liquid waters is essential for life as we know it. The tilt of the Earth's axis gives us the seasons, which play a crucial role in the growth of plants, the cycling of nutrients, and the balance of ecosystem. The presence of the moon also stabilizes the Earth's rotation, preventing extreme change in climate that could be detrimental to life. The extraordinary fine-tuning cannot be dismissed as a mere coincidence. The odds of all these constants and conditions aligning perfectly by random processes are very probability low. It is far more reasonable, given the evidence, to conclude that the universe was designed by an intelligent, all-knowing creator. The creator, designer, is the Christian God who created the universe with a purpose and a plan. This designer is the Christian God. His plan includes the existence of life and ultimately the creation of beings who can know and love Him. This will is in line with the Christian belief of God is the master architect of the universe, and every aspect of creation reflects His wisdom and life and love. The third argument, moral argument, the inward compass. The moral argument for the existence of God is a deeply profound and personally relatable argument that is based on the reality of moral value and duties. We all possess an innate sense of right and wrong. From a young age, we are aware that certain actions such as murder, lying are morally wrong, rape are morally wrong, while others like love, kindness, and justice are morally right. But the question that arises is, where do these moral values come from? If we assume that there is no God, then moral values are simply the result of human evolution and social conditioning. From an evolution perspective, moral value may develop as a survival mechanism. For example, cooperation and altruism may have helped our ancestors survive and reproduce. From a social conditioning standpoint, moral values are instilled in us by our family, cultures, and societies. However, the problem with this view is that it cannot account for the universal and objective nature of moral value and obligation. For instance, we firmly believe that the Holocaust was objectively wrong. It was not just wrong according to our cultural standards. It was a moral abomination that transcends cultural boundaries. But if moral values are merely subjective, if they are just a matter of personal or cultural opinion, then we have no solid foundation or basis for making such a claim. We will have no grounds to condemn the action of others, as everyone's moral values will be equally valid. The only way to account for the objective nature of moral value and duties is to ground them in a transcendent moral God. God, in the Christian understanding, is the source of all that is good. His very nature is the standard of morality. Our moral sense and intuitive feeling we have about what is right and wrong is a reflection of its moral character. Like C.S. Lewis so aptly put it, a man does not call a line crooked unless he has some idea of a straight line. Our sense of right and wrong imply the existence of an objective moral standard, and that standard is found in God. God's commandments and teachings provide us with a clear framework for understanding and living our moral values. Fourthly, the argument for consciousness. Consciousness is a profound mystery that defies purely materialistic explanation. We experience subjective awareness, thoughts, emotion, and qualia, the qualitative aspect of experience, like the sensation of color or pain. These elements of consciousness are not merely physical processes in the brain. They possess unique non-physical properties. From a naturalistic viewpoint, it is extremely difficult to explain how mere electrochemical reaction in the brain can give rise to the reach of conscious experience. For example, we can study neural correlates of an emotion like love, but the subjective feeling of love itself remains beyond the reach of physical analysis. However, if we possess the existence of a Christian God, conscience finds a more coherent explanation. God, as supremely conscious and intellectual being, created human being in his image. Part of this image includes the gifts of consciousness, allowing us to perceive, think, feel, and have a relationship with our Creator. Just as an artist infuses a part of their creative essence into their work, God has bestowed upon us the ability to be conscious beings, experience the world in a way that transcends the purely physical. The connection between the divine nature of God and the existence of human consciousness provides strong evidence for God's existence. Also,